Hi and welcome back to the United Devils YouTube channel. I'm Arjun and today I'm going to be reacting to United's 2-0 win over Manchester City on Sunday. Of course, we all know what happened. 2 goals from Anthony Martial and Scott McTominay sealed the win for Solskjaer's Red Devils. And what you've got to say is what this means for Manchester United for the rest of the season, what this means for the players, and what it means going into the next few games. So, firstly, you have to say, magnificent performance, 10 out of 10s for every single player on that pitch for Manchester United. You can look at De Gea's good saves against Sterling and Jesus. You can look at Wan-Bissaka's brilliant defending, Maguire commanding the box. You can see how much he was missed in the 3-1 defeat at Old Trafford when Phil Jones had to come in. You can see how robust Matic was, how energetic Fred was, how creative Bruno was. And even Martial, who everyone claims doesn't work hard enough, was tracking back and defending, made a few good clearances from corners as well, took his goal very well, of course, and did offer a creative spark on the counter as well with Daniel James, who, while his final product wasn't the best, he still showed a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of drive to keep running and keep pressing to the very, very last moment. And of course, his pressing won United another goal, and McTominay took that fantastically as well. A first-time effort from 40 yards is something that should not be glossed over. One thing you do have to say is that City do pay for their own mistakes. They are goalkeeping errors, essentially, that gave United the 2 goals. Could have given them another one with Ederson losing possession of the ball and Martial bearing down on him, but he managed to clear it away in the last minute. What you do have to say is that not a lot of attention has been put on that, and it's been more on other things, just in general, why Man City are not doing so well. And you'd expect after last week's heavy criticism of De Gea and Jordan Pickford, as well as the season criticism for goalkeepers such as those two, as well as Bernd Leno and Kepa Arrizabalaga, you'd expect people to be equally criticising Ederson for that pretty shoddy performance. What this means for Manchester United is that they are now remain 5th after being pushed back down by performances by Wolves and Sheffield United at the weekend. But they've come back, are now only 3 points behind Chelsea, 5 points behind Leicester, and could potentially be in a Champions League place as it is, with the financial fair play ban on Manchester City allowing 5th place to take Champions League. So they are, while they don't want to be in 5th, as Solskjaer has said very clearly, it could be beneficial should something calamitous happen during the run-in. Obviously, they will want to have a bit more security with that and get to 4th and 3rd and whatever else. But it is something to fall back on if things don't go as well as expected. Of course, United are still in 2 other competitions. The FA Cup quarter-final about to happen at the end of March. And, of course, the round of 16 of the Europa League starting this Thursday. It's important for United to keep pursuing these targets. As Solskjaer has said, United should be a team that's not just looking for top 4. They should also be looking for silverware every season. They should be pushing for the title every season. But since the title is out of grasp mathematically, it would seem very clear that going for top 4 has to be the number one priority, alongside winning at least one trophy this season. And of course, they have the ability to do so. They've shown their competence against big teams this season, beating Chelsea 3 times, Man City 3 out of 4, beaten Tottenham, drawn to Liverpool, as well as showing their competence against lower level opposition more recently. 5-0 win against Club Brugge, a 3-0 win against Derby County, and a 3-0 win against Watford, who puts Liverpool to the sword more recently. So it does show that they have the capabilities to break down teams and also counter on the big teams. The defensive security is, of course, the first and foremost, and I think that's the main reason why United have been improving of late, because they are defensively a lot more solid, having kept 8 clean sheets in the last 10 games. They have the second highest number of clean sheets in all competitions in the top 5 divisions of Europe, only behind Paris Saint-Germain, who I believe have 30, whereas United have 20. David De Gea already keeping more clean sheets this season than he did in the whole of last season, keeping 8 so far in the league, 9 in all competitions. It just shows that United have improved. The signings that Solskjaer has made has progressed them further. Of course, firstly looking at Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the defensive side. The attacking side, Bruno Fernandes has obviously revolutionised United's ability to break teams down, offers a lot more quality than was already there. So he was an important buy, and for only 46 million, it seems almost a steal. Obviously, it would have been better if he was bought in the summer, but what's more important is United winning their next few games. Of course, against LASK in the Europa League on Thursday. Going away is never easy in Europe, and after a big result and a bigger match to come on Sunday, you'd expect Solskjaer to be resting players. I do see him resting around 8 or 9 players. I think he might keep Nemanja Matic or Fred, one of the 2 midfielders that started against Manchester City. I see him keeping maybe a defender, maybe just one of the defenders. I can see a lot of players being rested, especially Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who put in a magnificent performance and does deserve a rest. I wouldn't risk taking Anthony Martial because he will be important against Tottenham. And I would consider not taking Bruno, but I would suggest put him on the bench just in case things do get a bit difficult. Because obviously Lingard has struggled and Mata hasn't got the legs. So it would be interesting to take him but not start him unless it's a last resort. And then, of course, the big game against Tottenham. It will seem that if a loss to Tottenham would almost scrap all the work done in recent weeks, especially the Man City win and the Chelsea win. But what's more important is that United do have the ability to beat Tottenham. They just have to put out a team performance like they did against Manchester City, like they did against Chelsea, like they did against Tottenham earlier this season. And they have to capitalise on the errors that Tottenham will make, because they will make errors, believe me. The fact that they haven't got the firepower of Son or Kane is huge for Manchester United, and the fact that they have got a trip to Germany lined up against Leipzig and will need to put in a huge graft to get through, if they are to get through. And I am almost praying in that sense that they do get to 90 minutes with being 1-0 up, because that will take it to extra time and that will wear them down even more. And that's just what United need. They need a tired team that are going to just fall apart by the end. And it looks like Tottenham are that team right now. And I do feel sorry for Jose Mourinho, because he obviously wants his team to give 100% each game, and he seemed unhappy with a fair few players that aren't doing so, like Tanguy and Ndombele, who, while didn't start against Norwich, apparently looked like he had done in the Burnley game, and so was subbed off at half-time. You'd have to say it would be almost a massive coup if Mourinho does lose to Solskjaer again, but it wouldn't be unsurprising given the forms of both teams. United have to just keep pushing, keep winning every game, because Chelsea do have a difficult run and Leicester have a difficult run, and you'd expect them to drop points, and United have to be ruthless if they are going to get Champions League football. So let's hope that United can push through, can keep winning, keep the unbeaten run going, because when you have that kind of momentum driving your team, especially with a young team, it's so important. And let the goals keep coming. Hopefully Rashford and Pogba will be back soon. Pogba will be more likely than Rashford to return for the Tottenham game, as has been reported the last few weeks. But we shall see. Let's just hope United can keep going, keep pushing, and that their standards and mentality do not drop.